How you doing? I'm Miles McPherson, pastor of the Rock Church in San Diego. Over the last year, I've been in hundreds of discussions on the topic of marriage. Who should be allowed to be married? Is it a civil issue? Is it a religious issue? And what I've noticed is that the one thing that has gotten lost in this debate is God. He's the one who created marriage, and he did for very specific reasons. So I want to talk about a few of those reasons because as believers, we need to finish and end this discussion with God. We need to start with the definition of marriage. God's definition is the spiritual union between a man and a woman. End of story. Anything other than that is not marriage. And if you're talking about changing who can be married, you need to talk about changing the definition of marriage. Football is 11 guys playing against 11 guys on a football field 100 yards long. If you're bringing a basketball hoop into the equation, if you're bringing a baseball bat to hit field goals with, it's not football anymore. Marriage, by definition, is a man and a woman. That's how God created it, and that's how God designed it. Secondly, marriage represents the spiritual union between Christ and his church. When a man and a woman get married, you are watching Jesus and his church walk around together, love each other, and encourage each other every day. When a man loves his wife right, when a woman loves her husband right, and they mutually respect and submit to one another, we would see modeled on earth Jesus and his church. We, as Christians, have failed the world in this. We have not modeled the relationship between Jesus and his church in our marriages. We divorce just as often as non-believers. That is our fault. Therefore, the world is looking for another option. Let me encourage you as believers to love your wife, love your husband, respect each other, serve one another, and show the world what Christian love and commitment is really all about. Show the world what the church and Jesus Christ have in a relationship by loving each other. So secondly, marriage represents a spiritual union between Jesus and his church. Third, marriage represents the spiritual destiny of all believers. In Revelation chapter 19, there's going to be a wedding, and there's going to be one groom, Jesus, and one bride, the church. If you are a believer, you are part of that bride. And if you're a believer, you need to be clear not only who you are, but what your destiny is. That you are the bride of Christ and you are going to be at a wedding where there's going to be one man and one woman. Now, if you want to change the definition of marriage, I think you need to make sure that God is clear on your new definition so he could change his plans in heaven. But as far as my Bible reads and as far as what I'm told, God is going to have a wedding and there's going to be one man and one woman. And if you're a believer, you're part of that bride and not part of that wedding. Let me encourage you to be faithful to model that here on earth, that the world may know what's going to happen in heaven and that you may be faithful to who and what God has called you to be. God bless you and hope that you faithfully represent the Word of God.